When we go to sleep at night, we're actually waking up to more of who we really are because we're in the spirit realm. When we're in dream time, we return to source to recharge our battery. And when we wake up in the morning and we return to our 3D life, we're actually going to sleep from the perspective of spirit. What's up, everybody? This is the Autistic Mystic, and I help spiritual people become their happiest, authentic self. In this video, I'll share with you 3 things that all crystal children agreed to before they were born. I happen to be a crystal child myself. I know a lot of you guys who watch these videos are crystals as well, so namaste. And I just want to say this before we get into it, that it's important to not get too attached to these labels that we may give ourselves as a soul group of crystal children. Okay, so even the terms lightworker, starseed, indigos, these are all surface level words that describe a much deeper phenomena. And it doesn't mean that you're spiritually superior to anyone else. It means that you have a unique essence, that you were meant to shine in this world, and this video is going to help you do that by understanding and overstanding, looking down on your mission from a higher perspective. That way you can go about it and succeed in this collective intention we have as crystal children, and also to succeed in whatever individualized intention that you may have, whatever you want to accomplish on this earth. So what are the crystal children? Some of you guys may not even know. Well, I've made a bunch of videos on them. I'll put one up here right now, which is going to give you 5 signs that you are a crystal child. It's going to break it down really well. But in this video, we're also going to do that before we get into the 3 things that you may have agreed to before you were born. So to start off, the crystal children are a wave of souls. It's like a soul group, you could say, that is here incarnating to planet Earth right now to help raise the frequency of the planet. Crystal children hold a very high vibrational frequency, a very different frequency compared to a lot of the human beings that are on the planet right now. We have a very light, delicate energy. We have a lot of spirit guides, a lot of angels around us. But perhaps the most amazing thing about crystal children is the function of our auric field. Now, the reason we're called crystal children is because we literally have a crystalline energy field, which is very clear and prismatic. If someone can see auras, you'd be able to see my aura in this video. But the function of the crystal children that really sets us apart from, you could say, the indigo children who have an indigo aura, or even the rainbow children who are a different soul group, is that we are like the aura doctors, okay? We help people cleanse their energy field simply by being around them. Now let me explain the function of this, how it works. We have a clear energy field around our body. So when we stand next to someone who has a particular color or property of their auric field, our clear energy field fills up to match the energy of that person. Now this goes along with the empath phenomena. It's why as a crystal you feel so many other people's energy. But it's not just that you're an empath. As a crystal, you are like a chameleon, like a lizard who becomes whatever it touches. Let's say someone walks in the room right now with a red aura, right? They have their particular properties. If they stand next to me right now, my clear aura is going to fill up red. Now what this does is it allows the other person to feel like they're my best friend, because all of a sudden they're going to feel a resonance between me and them, and they're going to be like, wow, this person like feels the same as me. They feel like relaxing. So this is what the crystal aura does. It takes on that person's properties. Let's say it's a red aura color, because this allows the crystal's high vibrational frequency, because as crystals we have a very different energy, a very lightness, a delicateness to us. This allows the other person to entrain with our clear energy field without the other person knowing it. So this is a covert operation by the universe at large, designed our aura this way so that we could be the healers that we are, right? So when my aura fills up red, it actually helps the other person entrain with my crystal energy, but they don't even realize it because of this chameleon effect. And with the crystal children, you'll notice that a lot of us are very introverted because we have such a strong purpose with our auric field. A lot of crystals let our aura do the work. You might be introverted. You might not even know about this, which is why I am sharing this video to increase the awareness about this. Now, when we look at the overall picture of the world and we see like the indigo children, crystal children, all these star seeds and light workers, you could say from my analysis that it's about 30% of the population of the human beings on planet Earth who are on the planet right now, 30% has crystal, indigo, they're some form of light worker. They have more of their cosmic DNA activated, which is very different. It's like a different breed of human beings that have been on the planet. This is a whole new breed. 30% is like that. You could say 70% of the population has what we could call a non-DNA activated cosmically aura. Okay, so these are going to be very two different life experiences. Now, if you're anything like me, you have been going along your whole life until your spiritual awakening thinking that you were just a normal person, right? And you may be like, why am I so different to everyone? Oh my God. But then you realize you're a crystal child. For me, how it happened was I had literal people who can see auras say, like, you have a crystal aura. And then I researched very deeply what are the crystal children, and I learned that it fit exactly what my life experience is, right? Being a crystal child. So understand, before we get into the three things that we agreed to as crystals, we are here for a collective intention. We are here to change the programs, the overall way that everything's going on the earth. You can obviously see right now that things are not going in a good direction. And that's why we are here. All the light workers, whether you're an indigo, crystal. Because during the time of the world wars, when things got extremely dark on the planet, there was mass extermination of people like the Jews. There was mass warfare, a lot of killing, a lot of interdimensional activity, actually, that was controlling human beings on the planet to do these dark things, harvesting dark energy, right? Humans are kind of like the vehicle to carry out these interdimensional agendas. When this was going on in the world, a balancing act happened where the universe at large was saying, okay, these humans are using nuclear bombs, they're literally destroying their planet. So the pendulum swung from the darkness to indigo children started to incarnate, crystal children started to incarnate, because we are holding literally sometimes an 11th dimensional perspective on the planet, where we have such a different frequency, and we often have such a wide spectrum system analysis that our mind, our collective just being here is what's helping raise the planet. And crystal children, actually, all of our crystalline auras together, because we're all on the planet together, we are actually creating a magnetic force that is literally moving Earth's position back into a different space than it was because of all this stuff that's happening with the negativity. It's still happening right now, but we are here to combat this. We are the resistance movement, but of course we do it in an amazing way as crystals. So the first thing that all crystal children agreed to before they were born is to work very closely with interdimensional beings, or you could say spirit guides. So you're not in this alone, right? Because you're here with such a big mission, you could say, it's going to take more than you. And you already have a mastermind around you. If you're a crystal child, you resonate with the fact that you have many guardian angels. You have interdimensional beings that when you listen to them, when you trust your heart, because they communicate with us in so many different ways, you can apply the information that they give you in a very direct way in this linear timeline, and it happens to work out very effectively. So to give you examples of how this may work, in my life, in very critical moments, I always got intuitions, and then strange things started to happen to me that were like guiding signs. So for example, a few years ago, I dropped out of college and I was in a really bad space. I really didn't have anything going on, but I was setting an intention and I was asking the universe, what should I do? And I asked the universe a specific question. And when I was driving on the road that I usually go on, it has a lot of red lights. It's this road called Montauk Highway where I used to live. And when I asked the universe a question of what should I do, am I going the right direction in life, and I was thinking a specific thought frequency, there was green lights for like 3 towns in a row. So I started thinking to myself, this has never happened before. Like, I'm getting guidance right now driving. There's green light, green light. So that was my spirit guides influencing the street lights to tell me, keep going. Green means go. Keep going on this path. Yes. This can manifest in so many different ways. Like when I personally receive rap lyrics, because I like to be a poet and I have hip hop songs that are out, the way that I download these lyrics are from my interdimensional guides, where I know it's from them because I don't even do anything. I'm sitting here and I'm walking down the street, and then all of a sudden it's like, wave, it's like a download. Many of you guys probably receive downloads where it's like this wave comes into you and it's like coming so fast and you're just trying to like keep up with it. And then I write something down and it's like the most profound piece of poetry that I've ever done. Realize that everyone on the planet, they're interacting with interdimensional beings. The thing is that it's much easier to interact with multidimensional beings of a lower level. It's easier to jack in to the lower. When it comes to working with interdimensional beings that a lot of crystal children have as our spirit guides, usually this takes people like spiritual masters all their life to reach a certain frequency in order to be able to contact these things, in order to get knowledge and apply it and use it in physical reality, and it works. This takes like years of spiritual mastery, but as a crystal child, you would have always had access to this. And all you have to do is ask with your free will for more of a connection to come in with these interdimensional beings. For example, three of my primary spirit guides are 11th dimensional beings and higher, which is very high up in the spectrum. So that's why as a crystal, we have a very wide spectrum system analysis on things. That's why you can't deal with petty BS, right? The human gossip drama. It just doesn't satisfy you because you have these spirit guides which are delivering you with knowledge, intuition that is, it's so much more vast than that. And you could even say that these spirit guides are you. They're another form of you that is helping you in this life. And it's important to realize that the negativity in the world, this is happening because people are getting knowledge from interdimensional beings that are bad, right? If you look at what Hitler used to do with the Nazis, they believed that they were seancing multidimensional beings. And these beings were giving them very destructive, negative knowledge and like literally stuff about technology, how to develop mass weaponry, right? The nuclear bomb. The interdimensional beings would give them this knowledge because they had to do a lot of work to be able to tap into them, to be able to access these beings. And what they would give them, like technological plans, it would work. All right, so number 2, the second thing that all crystal children agreed to before they were born is to be misunderstood. Okay? There's a lot of thought structures in this reality that are just going to oppose your very way of being. Okay, crystal children, when we're in our true essence, we tend to not really care about a lot of the things that the masses care about, right? We don't really rely on the external world to give us our satisfaction when we're in alignment. And most of the world, they rely heavily on the external world, right? You have to be a certain way to be accepted into the tribe of human beings. But as a crystal, you came here to crack that code. You came here to show the world, no, relying on external things isn't the way. Because when you rely on your inner state of being, that's when things really start to change anyway. So many crystals are introverted, right? They may feel ostracized. You may feel so different than other people that it's painful. But just remember, right, that it's no measure of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society. So everything that you're feeling in your internal is accurate. You just have to make sure that you're not invalidating yourself, right? And this happens a lot of times when we're with other people. And two things happen when you're with someone, for the most part, as a crystal child. People either love you so much because they sense your light, and it's like a breath of fresh air for them being around your crystal energy. They're like, oh, wow, like this is awesome. Or your light, your very essence, your being is going to trigger all that is unintegrated, that is dark, that needs processing in the other person. Because we actually do have a 12-strand DNA activation that more of our cosmic energy is activated. So they feel a resonance with the universe. We're in the universal frequency of light. So much like aliens, like people say, why don't aliens like just land? Because we obviously know in this vast universe, especially as crystal children, that aliens exist. They say, why don't aliens just land? It's because if an interdimensional being of such a high frequency stepped next to you right now, anything that was unintegrated in you, meaning anything that wasn't of a high vibrational frequency, it would bring it up in you, and you'd be so scared you'd run away from the alien. And it's not that they're scary, even though that human beings would perceive them as scary. It's that they're so loving, they're so rooted in their frame that we would go running the other way because it brings up all this negativity in us, this lower vibration. Same thing happens with crystal children. And as crystal children, we are very empathic. I told you what happens with our aura. So it's important for you to not be afraid to be the dominant figure in every interaction, because many times you don't want to upset people. Many times you stoop to a lower vibration just to make others happy, because that's what you're actually supposed to do as a crystal. You're supposed to help people heal their energy. But it's important to make the distinction that never stoop to someone's level because you want to be a good empath. That's never going to help anyone. When you can remain rooted in your light and you can be the dominant energy in any situation, that is an invitation for other people to then really entrain with your energy, even if it's someone who opposes your energy, even if it's someone who takes a jab at you, because we do attract a lot of energy vampires, right? They sense our innocence, our childlike nature. They sense that we have energy flowing from the universe. So it's like a stream for those who are cut off from their true nature to try to latch on, try to attack, try to feed off of. And when this happens, you look at them and you say, thank you. You don't play into their game. You honor what is negative in them. Just remember, whoever blames you is not happy. Right? You may have a lot of people blaming you in your life because as a crystal, you're not relying on the external world to make you happy. A lot of people blaming you. You shouldn't be doing this. You should do that. Do this. Do that. Just remember that to the extent that people rely on the external world to make them happy, that is the measurement that reveals how unhappy they actually are. Okay, so ushering in this new earth as a crystal, you're bound to be misunderstood, but that is a good thing because it is revealing to you the shift that is going on the planet, and the universe is on your side. All right, so the third thing that all crystal children agreed to before they were born is to have 1 foot in physical reality and 1 foot out of physical reality. The truth is that most people living on the planet, they're completely entrenched in the physical reality. That's all there is. Death is a mystery, right? It's like you don't know what you happen, or you're going to go to heaven or hell. As crystal children, we have an inherent knowing what happens after death, is that we all return to unconditional love. We all return to heaven. No matter what you've done wrong in this life, you return to heaven. So in knowing that, crystal children have one foot in, one foot out, meaning we kind of know, especially after our spiritual awakening, after a proper initiation to our light, to our power, which I hope this video will help you do, we truly know that this is an illusion. Now let me share with you an analogy that I think is going to really help you. When we go to sleep at night, we're actually waking up to more of who we really are, because we're in the spirit realm. When we're in dream time, we return to source to recharge our battery. And when we wake up in the morning and we return to our 3D life, we're actually going to sleep from the perspective of spirit. That's why we have to sleep 8 hours a night, to literally go back to source, to recharge our battery, just to plop back into this 3D illusion that all crystal child knows it is. It is a hologram. Now, it's not to invalidate the validity of the 3D reality, it's just to know what it really is. More so, all crystal children have one foot in and out of this reality because we have a knowing in our heart that when we die, when this body, my 3D vehicle that is carrying my spirit in me, when this passes away and I go back into source, I go back into heaven, we have a knowing that from our spiritual perspective, it's the same thing as like we have a dream at night. Our spirit coming out of my body is gonna wake up in source in heaven and be like, oh, that physical experience was a funny dream. That was pretty hilarious. It's like the same thing when you wake up in the morning into physical reality and you had a bad dream, you're like, oh, that was a weird dream. And then you just brush it off and you continue with your life as it goes on. And that's what happens from the reverse perspective. This little paradox I'm sharing with you, as crystal children, we know that this reality is very flexible. It's not what we think it is. It's not what we've been told. And the reason we know this is because we have, you could say, an inherent memory of what it's like to be in the spirit realm. That means, translated, we have 11-strand, 12-strand DNA, cosmic DNA that is running through our system that science wouldn't be able to detect unless they expand their awareness that we don't live in a three-dimensional reality. Until they do that, they'll never detect this DNA. But it's not about that, right? You're on the leading edge of thought. And this, having one foot in and one foot out of physical reality, it gives you the advantage of being a healer, being someone who works with spirit. Most, things that freak a lot of people out, they don't freak you out, but the opposite may freak you out. So for example, when there's a death in the family, many times crystal children, because we have one foot in and one foot out, we are level-headed. We know what to do. We know the reality that that person has returned to source. So when everyone else is completely upset, we can, of course, be upset too, but we have a higher, wide spectrum system analysis going that allows us to remain rooted. And when you have one foot in and one foot out of physical reality, that's the advantage that you have. You are emotionally stable. No matter what happens, you remain calm. That's a characteristic of the crystal children. We remain calm because we have a wider perspective. It's like when you go into a movie theater. If you went into a movie theater to watch a movie and you thought that the theater was an illusion and you thought the movie was all that existed, and you were so bought into the reality of the movie, let's say it was a scary movie, every second you'd be screaming, you'd be freaking out. But when you remember that you're in a movie theater and it's actually just a projector on a screen, and then you can leave the movie theater after, you wouldn't be as so caught up in it. You would have a space between what is happening and your true self. And that's the same thing. When this life ends, crystal children know that we return to the movie theater. Well, no, we don't return to the movie theater. We return out of the movie theater to the whole rest of the world, which in this analogy is source. It is spirit. It is who we really are. And what having one foot in and one foot out of physical reality does for me, how it manifests in my life is it allows me to take a lot more risks than a lot of other people would, right? Most people are saying arrive at death safely, right? That because if you're bought into the 3D reality as being the only known thing that you can really rely on, right? You don't know what happens after death. All of a sudden, you're not going to really take a lot of risks. But as a crystal child, you know that not taking a risk is the biggest risk you could take. The path to safety, the path that the masses follow, that's not what you want to do in this life. You want to juice this life for all that it has to offer. And I'm telling you, once you listen to your interdimensional beings, once you honor the fact that you're going to be misunderstood, and you truly apply this gift of knowing that you have 1 foot in and 1 foot out of physical reality, your life is going to change because your behavior is going to change. Your thoughts are going to change. The law of attraction is going to start reacting to you in a totally different way. Because even the knowing that you have a crystal aura, you have this cosmic DNA that's activated, this makes life become like a dream.